Guys, and welcome back to another video. I'm still proud of myself for keeping this up. And this lighting, is this not just fantastic? It snowed outside, and so the snow is just super bright, and it just makes this whole room glow, and I love it. And it's currently 0 degrees outside, which that just seems so odd to me. It's not like 1 or -1 or, it's 0. That just seems eerie and odd. But it's days like this where I question myself why I moved to Montana to be a mermaid. Which just so happens to be the #1 question I get asked since I've moved out here. Because I have had to tell every single person I have met. And I've met a lot of people because I didn't know a single person when I moved here. And so everyone was new. And I couldn't even make this up if I tried, and I am not exaggerating it. I have had to tell every single person I have met and talked to that I moved here to be a mermaid. And everyone's kind of just like, why and like how? And that's actually kind of what inspired me to get life coaching certified recently. Is because I'm like, if I'm telling this story to every single person I meet and talk to, I'm like, I need to be promoting something or, kind of like advertising, this is how I did it and here's how you can too. So how did I and why did I move here to be a professional mermaid? In the middle of Montana, of all places. Well, ironically, I was actually mermaiding in Arizona before this, which I don't even know which one's worse. It's like mermaiding in the desert, but where people actually do have pools, or in Montana, where it's like farming country and there's lakes. I don't know, but basically how it all started was I felt this soul calling to Montana, which it was very, very weird. I've never experienced anything like it. And apparently that's like actually a common thing. People feel called to the state. Oh, I get goosebumps. Like, do you see this? I literally have goosebumps. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Oh my gosh. You're speaking the truth when you just get goosebumps all over. Oh, man. But yeah, it's apparently a thing. People just feel called here. And I've never heard that anywhere else, but yeah, and it's like there's something about this state when it's like when you leave, you feel like you have to come back. And almost everyone who leaves the state comes back. Like if you've actually experienced the whatever you call it, the calling feeling that you get here. It's weird. And so it was funny because I actually had moved here. I mean, not moved here. I had visited the state years ago. I think I was like 15. And I said I was going to move here, and I kind of forgot about it, but it's just so interesting to me how it actually did happen years later. And I didn't actually go through this town when I visited before, so I don't know if, what that would have been like if I had. Because I hadn't even heard of this town when I moved here. It was so crazy because I was basically like putting my finger on this invisible map, and I'm just like, I need to go there. And, okay, I'm getting out of order. So, basically, I was planning on moving to Phoenix. I was from a kind of a smaller town, but like a retirement town in Arizona. And I was planning on moving to Phoenix. And basically, like the week I was planning on moving to Phoenix, I was like, I just feel like I need to go to Montana. I just felt it in my soul. And I was telling everyone, and they're just like, I think you're losing it. And I was like, I just feel it. I'm like, and I know what I'm feeling. And it was so frustrating. And I basically like ran away from home for like 4 days. Did you really live if you never ran away from home? Or at least tried to? At least once. So I tried to run away from home got in this huge argument with my parents because they just didn't understand it. And I mean, rightfully so. Like, it was weird, you know? Like, I feel like I need to go to Montana. I'm planning on moving to Phoenix, but, like, plot twist, I want to go to Montana. I've never talked about going to Montana, you know? And it's like, ever since I had been there that one time when I was, like, 15, but I hadn't mentioned it since. And so I was like, yeah, I need to go to Montana. And basically I ran away from home for 4 days, then came back, told my parents, like, look, this is what I'm doing. Whether you want to support me or not, I'm doing it. And my dad was basically just like, okay, we'll help you move if this is what you want to do. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, so, like, where are you going in Montana, though? You know, he's like, it's a big state. And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, you know, how are you gonna mermaid in Montana? There's not really mermaids there, I wouldn't think. And I was like, yeah, I know. That's kind of what tears me apart, because I'm like, I know I am supposed to be doing mermaiding, but I also know I'm supposed to move to Montana. And so I looked up the most affordable places in Montana, because I'm like, I'm not going to go broke. I'm like, you know, if I'm supposed to be there, I'm going to go where it's affordable. The first one was Billings. And I was like, it just seemed overpopulated to me. Like, I don't know. It's Billings. The second one on the list was Great Falls. And I'm like, that just sounds pretty. It was totally clickbait, let me just say. It is pretty. It has its views. But, let's just move on from that topic. The picture of it was a night picture overlooking the river. And that is very, very pretty at night. But it's like the only thing that's pretty at night. It's just, yeah. But I was like, okay, it sounds like and looks like it has water. So that's a plus if I'm trying to mermaid there, because I need water. And it just sounds cool, like waterfalls and, you know, it sounded cool, right? And it was the second most affordable place in Montana. So I'm like, let's check it out, right? Sounds better than Billings. And so I was watching a YouTube video on Great Falls, and lo and behold, they were talking about, like, oh, so we have hiking, we have biking, yada, yada, yada. We also have mermaids. And I was like, yep, that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. Like, I knew. I didn't care to know any more about this place. I'm like, that's where I have to go. And I looked up, you know, what exactly the mermaid thing is here. There's the Sip and Dip. It's this legendary tiki bar in the middle of Montana. And I called the place. I'm just like, can I, you know, talk to a manager and stuff? Like, I really think this is what I need to do. And so I ended up talking to the manager, and I was emailing her, actually, and just kind of asking some questions. And I was like, look, I know I'm in Arizona, but, like, I really, really think this is what I'm supposed to do, and, you know, would you be willing to talk to me if I went there? And she's just like, yeah, sure, you know, probably not even thinking I would, but she's just like, yeah, I would be willing to. Like, awesome. And so within literally 2 months, okay, actually, I ended up moving here. But actually, before that, I think it was within 2 weeks, I basically told my boss that I needed to soul search. I had actually just taken off a week of vacation just before this happened. And I'm like, I need to take off another week. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I need to, like, soul search this place in Montana. I feel like it's what I need to do. And I'm like, I need to go there. And she was super understanding. Even personnel was like, you know, it's just, like, everything you're telling me, because I told her, like, this map there, it was literally a straight line from the town I was at. A straight line up. It was the weirdest thing. person that was like, it's a sign, you need to go. And I'm like, I know, it's crazy. But I think everyone just had like this weirdly good feeling about this is what I needed to do. And so I ended up coming here to check it out. And within, again, 2 weeks. And I basically demanded an interview with the owner of the Sip and Dip. And I was just like, I'm telling you, like, I'm planning on moving here. I just know this is what I need to do. I'm just like, would you give me the job? And basically all she told me was, we're not hiring at this point. And she didn't actually tell me if she would hire me even when they were hiring. And, I was like really mad at the time because I'm like, I don't know if she will hire me, but I'm like, you know what? If I actually make the move of moving here and if I live here for a while, odds are I think I would get hired at some point, So I'm like, this is what I want to do. I know it sounds crazy, but this is what I want to do. And it was so insane to me because it's like I didn't know, again, a single person here. I didn't know what the job even entailed. I didn't know, who the coworkers would be. I didn't even really know the boss. I didn't know anything, literally. I didn't know a thing about this town besides the fact that it had mermaids. And I'm like, that's all it took to get me here. And when I was visiting, I was like, this town's okay. I didn't like the town I currently lived in anyway, so I was like, it's at least a change. It can't be worse than where I'm at, and I do like Montana. And so I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. So I took my parents, I took my best friend, we all went to visit this place, and they all were just like, I can honestly see you moving here. And I was the only one who was like, I don't know. But I'm like, if they all see it, they might know me better than I know myself. So I kind of was just like, okay, I think I'll do it. We went looking for apartments. I found the one I'm at now, which I love. I am so happy here. And I really, really lucked out, honestly. And I was like, if I get accepted into this apartment, I will move there. And I'm like, if I don't, there isn't really any other place that I like, so I don't think it would be worth moving there, because if I don't even get the job, it's not worth living in a place I don't even like, with the town I'm not even sure of yet, So I was like, okay, if I move into that apartment, I'm in. So I sent in my application, waited for a few weeks, and I ended up getting accepted into the apartment. I'm like, okay, this is my sign, I need to do this. And my mom was like, you don't have to. It just because you got accepted doesn't mean you have to make the move. I'm like, I know, but I'm taking it as a sign, and I'm gonna do it. And so also, I had graduated in 2019. This was 2020. I was working a full-time job for exactly a year, because I had just started in August, and I was planning on moving in August, which is also when a bunch of my friends were going off to college. I'm like, this would be the perfect time. We all just go our separate ways at this time, and I thought it'd be perfect timing. Well, it just so happened to be in the middle of the pandemic. But, honestly, it ended up being, I think, the best move for me, because mermaiding in Arizona during the middle of the pandemic wasn't exactly the prime time, because nobody wanted to have parties at that time, which is what I was focusing on then, was doing mermaid parties. And I was like, I think this is the perfect move, because I'm going to move to Montana, where everything wasn't even half as bad here, because There's only 7 people here per square mile. It just seemed like the perfect thing to move to a bar that's not exactly going to shut down, and also upgrade my mermaiding game to aquatic entertainment, which was my dream anyway. So I ended up moving here, and within 2 months after I felt called here, which is still so insane to me because, I mean, I lived in my hometown for 19 years. 19 years. And just to uproot absolutely everything I knew and move to a state where I knew nobody and I knew nothing. I didn't even know if I was going to have the job, you know? And like, I didn't know if it was a leap of faith or absolute stupidity to move here, chasing this dream, literally chasing my dream at 19 years old. So insane. And honestly, I had never felt more alive. The drive here, I get goosebumps again, like just talking about it. The drive here, I just felt like, this is the absolute craziest thing I think I've ever done. But I just knew entirely this is exactly what I was supposed to be doing. And everything just seemed to fall so into place. I will say, because this is exactly what I was supposed to be doing and exactly where I was supposed to be at, I did have a lot of things trying to ruin my path. Which, I can't even remember everything, but like, I think I got a flat tire the day before I was supposed to move. And my landlord ended up having a stroke the day I was supposed to move in, so she couldn't move me in. And I don't even remember everything. It was just like so many things just kept happening. But I knew, I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be, and that's why. Because I don't know, like, why the world works like that, but it's like, sometimes things just can't be that perfect, you know? And it was funny because everywhere, just before I moved, I was hearing everywhere, God bless the broken road. And I just kept telling myself that, like, God bless the broken road, because it's the broken roads that lead to the best destinations, right? And I'm like, it's a broken road, but I'm like, it's gonna lead to the best destination. I just kept telling myself that. And you know what I kept telling myself too about the job is, I'm like, whatever has my name on it, no one else is gonna take from me. And because I didn't know if they were gonna start hiring again within these 2 months before I moved here, and if she'd pick somebody who had a more likely chance of living here, to get the job before me. And because, like, when you're hiring. It's like, you're not exactly going to wait for somebody to move here. But I was like, you know what? Whatever has my name on it, no one else can take. And so 4 days after I moved here, because I was still moving in, getting things adjusted, everything, I went in to update my information. And the lady at the front desk is just like, we're hiring, like, now. And I was like, today now? And she's like, yeah, literally, like, today. And I was like, no way. And I was like, well, can you give this to the manager, like, ASAP? I'm like, I'm so here for this job. Like, I just moved here. I just want to update my information. And she's just like, yes, absolutely. And so I think it was like literally a couple hours later, I get a call asking if I could come in for an interview. Or an interview and also like an audition, because I had an audition in the water, which was terrifying to me because that's something I've never done. Even though I'm very comfortable in the water, I'm like, I've never had someone like grade me, but I'm like, yes, this is exactly perfect. And so I went in. It turned out my boss had called me. I say my boss currently. Oops, that was a spoiler alert. She had actually called my old number that day to get me to come in for an interview, an audition. And I just think that's, I have no words. I have no words. She actually called my old number that day that I got it changed. Which I almost wonder, what my reaction would have been if I had actually gotten the call saying that. But instead I was still pursuing it, which probably also actually worked in my favor, because I'm like, guess what? I'm still pursuing this. And I ended up getting hired that day, which was, again, 4 days after I moved here, which is so crazy to me. And, honestly, it hasn't disappointed me yet. It really hasn't. It's my dream job on so many levels, and honestly, it has only escalated being my dream job. It just seems like things just keep getting crazier and better, and it's like, I mean, the place is literally legendary, and it seems like it's only getting more and more legendary with time, and I'm honestly so humbled to even be a part of it. I do want to make another video on, am I truly fulfilled from basically living my dream, and more kind of step-by-step steps that I took to actually execute this, and a lot more videos on what I actually do. But this is basically the story on how I moved to Montana to be an underwater entertainer. And, it is days, like I said, it is days like today where I'm like, why did I do this? It's literally 0 degrees outside. It feels like -14 with the wind chill, and it's just... But the thing is, it's like, the pool, it is heated. It's not always as warm as I want it to be, especially coming from Arizona. I'm used to the heat. It has never been more clear to me how much we truly do make sacrifices for the things and people we love than through this experience of mermaiding, where it gets to -50 degrees. -50. And it's just, thing is, I do it because I love it so much. I genuinely do. And I know so much that this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. For how long, I have no idea. But I'm here now, and I'm enjoying every second of it. And, every time I go in to work, I honestly, there has never been a job I have been so happy to go into. And that's how it should be. You should love what you do, and I genuinely do. And before I go out and perform, I give myself these pep talks. I'm just like, somebody here, because there's always somebody, has traveled. Every time before I go out, I always give myself these pep talks. I'm just like, somebody out there tonight has traveled a long way to be here, and it's probably their first time here. They're seeing that mermaids are real for the first time, and every single time I have to just remind myself, you're making someone's dream come true right now. And I used to always do that with the kids' parties, but it's even still at the bar. Adults tell me all the time, I've always wanted to be a mermaid. I've always wanted to meet a mermaid. It's just seeing it. It's literally a dream come true. And it's a fantasy, and it is. It's such a fantasy. And I just tell myself, this is what you wanted to do. And you moved miles away from everyone you knew to do this. And, you're here for a reason, which I do wonder, I wonder if I'm here for a bigger reason than this. Is there some other reason that I had to come to this town, but mermaiding was like the stepping stone it took to get me here? People have asked me that, and I'm like, I don't know. I feel that way. There might be something, and I get goosebumps again talking about it, but I don't know, you know? It's wild. But I do feel like there's some other reason I'm here. I just don't know what it is. And it's scary to say that, and especially on the internet, because I know I'm gonna look back at this video in like 5 years and be like, girl, what is that hat? What is that makeup? Like, what are you even saying? Or be like, I know what it is now. And that's crazy that I thought that 5 years ago, because I ended up figuring it out. It's so wild. But for the time being, I am here to be a mermaid and to give advice on the internet. And as much of a fantasy as this job might seem, it's real. And it's a dream come true. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, please like this video. Also, leave a comment if you have any other ideas what kind of videos I could be coming out with. I am very open to suggestions. I just kind of am going through the things people ask me the most right now, which I hope you guys find interesting, because I do happen to think I'm a pretty interesting person, if I do say so myself. At least I hope I am. But if you have any other ideas, I want to be giving you guys the kind of content that you want to hear from me. So if you are enjoying it, please also subscribe and follow me on almost any social media platform at Mermaid Cassandra, where I also post some advice and tips. And until my next video, I will see you guys on there. But for now, mermaid kisses and starfish wishes. Mwah!